How are you, members? This is Dr. Willoughby John, a pharmacist by profession and a pharmacist instructor at several institutions in Uganda. Today, we've come to talk about weighing of pharmaceutical ingredients. Weighing of pharmaceutical ingredients is very, very necessary, especially in medicines. We are weighing excipients and then active ingredients. We must do accurate weighing to prevent damages to our patient. Remember, we say patient safety is number one. The rest can follow. So, if we put high, for example, ingredients, we shall make damage to we shall cause a lot of toxicity to our patient. But now, if we put low, our drug won't work. So we need to make accurate measurements of our ingredients. That's what we are going to tackle. And what you should know before even starting, you should know that we must be excessively clean in the practical, which we are in this procedure which you are going to do. That's why the first step which you must do is you must always put on protective gears to also protect you from the chemicals which could irritate you, which could irritate our skin, which can irritate our hands, and then they cause damages. Of course, you must always remember the basic requirements in the lab, which you must come with in the lab. Now, after making sure that our safety, that now we are safe, for example, we must make sure that everything is in order, the way we are going to use it. For example, we have in the cleaner. This one is to make sure that the surface which we are going to use is very clean, so that we don't cause cross-contamination of our ingredients, the active and the API. And we must always make sure that even the bean balance we are going to use is excessively clean. Then the next step, the other requirements which we shall need a spatula. This is for picking our ingredients up to the weighing balance. The next thing which we shall also need the API or the ingredients which we shall measure. But then picking of the ingredients, today we are having two types of ingredients of different expiry dates. We have in this one which ends in 2024, and then we have in this one which ends in 2023. So we shall pick the one for 2023 first and leave out the one for 2024 to avoid our ingredients from getting expired before using them. Afterwards, another thing which we shall need a weighing balance itself, which is going to measure our ingredients, for example. And the weighing balance is having different parts and different stones which are weighing differently. The first stone which you shall see on this extreme end, which is the biggest stone, it is having 100 grams. It is having 100 grams, and each time you move it to a certain figure, it is in hundreds. For example, from 0, we go to 100. From 100, we go to 200 grams. That is the first stone which you shall see. The next stone which you shall see is having 10 grams. So it moves in 10-10. From 0, it goes to 10 grams. From 10, it goes to 20 grams, and onwards up to 100 grams. The next one which we're having is having 1 gram. From 0, it goes to 1 gram. From 1 gram, it goes to 2 grams, up to 10 grams. The next stone which we are having is weighing 0.01. It starts from 0, it goes to 0.01, 0.02, up to 0.1, and the last one is a 1. The whole scale ends in 1 gram. Those are our stones. Now, the first step which we shall always use, we shall also have a pen. This is a pen for recording. Each thing which we do in the lab, we record. Once you don't record, you've not done that procedure. And you very well know that. Then, after introducing everything, I think we can go on with our procedure of weighing. The first step of always weighing must be to protect the weighing balance. this is a very good thing, and it is a very delicate thing which we should not damage in any way or the other. And most of the time we protect this balance to prevent contamination of the balance, and then to prevent damage of our balance, weighing balance. We put this down on paper to caution it not to break. Then after we put these papers here, we may use any other material. We may use a very clean cloth, or, but in this case in the lab we use majorly papers, plain white clean papers. We protect our balance. In this case, we have protected our balance, and then we get a small paper, and then we make a boat, what we call a boat. In this case, we are going to improvise with a boat, but normally we can use even petri dishes, which we put here to prevent pouring the ingredient directly onto our weighing balance, because it can damage it. This weighing balance is made of stainless steel. Never know, there may be an ingredient which could react with our weighing balance, so we don't want to damage our weighing balance. Neither do we want to damage our API or our ingredient, because this ingredient, remember, it is consumed by animals and humans, of which case we want them to be very safe, not to be having any metal inside. Then from that, after protecting our balance, we are going to make sure that we get the entire weight of this petri dish. In this case, this is a boat paper which we've made. It replaces a petri dish. Let's say, for example, we want to weigh 3 grams of starch, because in this case, our ingredient is starch. What we are going to do, we are going to first get the entire weight of this boat paper of ours. We are going to move one stone per stone. We start from the smallest one. We move it and we see whether there is any change. After putting it to the extreme, there is no any movement. So we put our stone backwards. Then we go to the next stone, which moves in one ones. We move it to the extreme end to see whether there is anything. There is no movement also. So we bring back our stone. Then the next thing which we shall do is to move the one for 10 tens. The one for 10 tens, and we see whether there is any movement. Is there any movement? Yeah, there is a movement. On which point? On point 80. So we decide to bring it back. Still on point 70, there is still a movement. This side is heavier than this one. We bring it back to 60. On bringing our thing to 60, we see that now this side is heavier. The board paper is heavier than our paper. So what we do is to use now these smaller ones to see the other weights which are after 60. Maybe it is 64, maybe it is 63, like that. That's why we come to this stone, and then we start moving this stone. Where you are not seeing any movements on our scale. When we reach 9, we see that this side now is heavier than this side. So we bring it back, a little bit back. Even on 8, it is still the same case. Now when we reach 6, that is when the thing goes backwards. So we shall stop on that one, and then we go to the extreme stone. Now to the last stone. Now the last stone, we start moving our smallest stone. This stone which we talked about of 0.01 to see. We move it to 0.1, 0.2. It is still heavier. We go to 0.4. Now when we reach to 0.4, that's where we're having our balance. If you can see here, that's where our major balance is. Our balance is gotten when this line is in line with the 0. If you are to see, it is very close in line with the 0. We can even move it slightly in front. That is at that's where the balance stabilizes. If we are to see, we notice the figure at which our balance was. and we are using our pen to notice. At first, the thing was on 60 grams. So we put 60 grams plus, and now we go to the next tone, stopped on 6. We go and then we read it stopped on a 6. Here we put plus 60 grams. Then the third stone stopped on the 0.4, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. Meaning it stopped on 0.4 plus this is 0.4, the line for 0.4. This is the line for 0.4. Then here we count 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. That is a 0.05. So we add up all these ones. This is the weight of our paper boat. This is how we tire our weights. So we are going to add all these ones and then we see what we get. We shall get a 66.45 grams. So our paper boat, which is our tire weight, is 66. This is our tire weight. It is 66.45. After noticing our weight, and then we know that we want to measure maybe API, which is starch of 3 grams as we had said. We just get this 66.45. 66.45. We add our 3 grams and we shall get 69.45. So in case you have to put any starch here and then you pour it, it must weigh 69.45 here, because that is the total weight of this paper and the starch which you shall put there. That will be our total weight. So we are going to be picking our starch from the bottle to here, but focusing on this figure of 69.45. So we can even drive our stones to 69.45. This is already on 60. This is already on a 6. So we are going to put it to a 9. After putting it on a 9, now we are going to drive this one to a 0.45. Where exactly it is? It is a 0.45, because that's where we left. Remember it was 66.45, but now we just want 69.45, meaning here it is still on 0.45. Are we okay? In that case, I know we are very fine. So we are going to put our starch and we make sure that it is just in balance. This line goes back to where it was, because right now it is in 69.45. So for that case, we open our bottle very well, and then we start weighing off. We start weighing off our ingredient, which we want. We put little by little as we are observing the lifting up of our line that side. So it needs to add. We add little by little, and then we see any movement. There is no movement. We can add more powder. On adding more powder, we see that the balance increased. The line went up, but then it went slightly more up than where we expect it to be. So what we need to do is to reduce. In this case, we must reduce on the powder, and we see if it is on the real balance. So for that case, we see our balance. Now it is really balancing. And now what we do, we put back the excess and then we close our bottle. Don't forget to close, because normally students, we tell them this is a mark of closing. And then after closing, we put everything where everything was. We put back where everything was remove our weighed balance. And now this is our weighed starch, and it is accurate. We now dismantle our weighing balance, and then we put back everything where it was. We must put it back so that we prevent damage. If we over put it there, it will damage our weighing balance. So we move everything which we used away from that side. We move everything which we used. Thank you so much. You've been very good listeners, and then I hope you've understood very, very well. That was the weighing. Please don't forget to subscribe on that bell which you see down there. Thank you so much.